Claudio about beacons and other stuff, about scanning your environment around you. So have fun and welcome to the stage.
Thank you. So I am Clauz from Linuxorg, and this talk is about using proprietary beacons extensions in a way that I will show you. So what is Linuxorg? It's a community network in Italy. We have different islands which correspond to different mesh networks located in different parts of the country. That's better? Okay. So here we have some nice pictures from our deployments. We have nanostations on broomsticks. We have some supernodes. We have different parts of Italy covered. And this is the map of Rome as it was a few months ago. And here we have a picture from one of the last Linux days. So I am from Linux Rome. What we are using is still OLSR v1, even if we are switching to OLSR version 2 in some points. We have a dual stack IPv4 and IPv6 network with some BGP peerings going on, both at the local internet exchange and at the edges of the network. And we also have as uplinks the DSLs contributed by community network members. I would say that Linux Rome is an experimentation-oriented network. We have some stuff going on. And what we're using as a firmware, it's a bit complicated. So we used to have this firmware called the Scureggione, which is a bad word in Italian. I won't translate it. Which was a customized NobleWrtLED with OLSR version 1. Then we moved to, we were using at the same time another firmware, which we named Sburratone, which I will also not translate, which was a customized Ubiquiti AeroS with OLSR. So at the time, Ubiquiti had an SDK, so you could add your own stuff in the firmware. Before the SDK, we also went for reversed firmware images. I think somebody from Funkfeuer was actually starting this thing of reversing the images, and we just took his ideas. But why were we using this firmware? Why are we still using this firmware? Because very active people joined the community, but they wanted to use proprietary firmware. They said that proprietary firmware had better performance in their tests. They could use proprietary extensions which could enhance the throughput. They could use, in their opinion, better user interfaces. They could click everything, and for example, they had some firmware features such as site survey and performance tests. Ubiquiti firmware used to have this kind of integrated iPerf showing nice graphs and stuff like this. So many people were like going for this firmware. One thing that I looked into was how this site survey feature is done in this firmware. So before going into this, let me explain you which are the kinds of nodes that we have in our community. We have usually the mesh network that goes on the roofs of the houses. Then we have a switch, and then we go down into the house with another Ethernet cable. So with these firmwares, we used to have this sburratone or scureggione firmware on the roof, and then just having some switching going on in the network. We were just using the home router for the local Wi-Fi. But then what happened is that the SDK of AeroOS was not available anymore. They decided to close it. So somebody which still wanted to use proprietary firmware on their CPEs, they said, let's move the routing to another device and just bridge the CPEs. So many deployments that we have are like this. We have some Bridgid CPEs on the roof. These are configured with a VLAN. The VLANs go into the switch, and on the home router, we see the different VLANs as different interfaces of the routing protocol. So it's like the CPEs are extensions of the interfaces on the routers. So we're still running NobleWrtLED in the home router, but on many nodes, this is going on. So the situation is quite of a mess. We have different kinds of nodes. We have different firmwares. We have NobleWrtLED plain firmwares. We have our firmware. We have proprietary firmware. We have some LibreMesh. We have everything in our network. So I wanted to, my goal would be to have all NobleWrtLED firmwares on the roofs. So my idea was to look into the at least some of the features provided by these proprietary firmwares and port them to free firmwares. So I looked into this site survey functionality of AeroOS firmwares, and it works like this. I will just show you a screenshot. So you go on the web interface of the firmware, you do site survey, and you get different columns. So I don't know if you can see it, perhaps no. So you have a column which is the MAC address, then you have the SSID, then you have the device name, then you have the radio mode, encryption, signal, and frequency. So this device name column is something that is not really standard. It's something that they added somewhere. So I started looking into this, and I captured some beacons from the Ubiquiti firmware with Wireshark. And this is what we have. We have some IEs, which I will tell you what they are. And this is what we are having. Like here, we have some ASCII text that is embedded in the vendor information elements. So information elements, or YES, are some fields of the beacons, which may contain some vendor-specific information. So we have information elements for different information, but we also have information elements that can be added by the vendors. So these IEs that we are scanning have this OE, which is 000C42, which is the MikroTik OE. And what else? If we do an IWDev WLAN0 scan -U, we can capture the actual contents of that information element and look at it. So I think it's too small. I don't know if I can zoom in. No way. Okay, so we have the UI, the OE here, we have some stuff that I would consider just garbage, I don't know. And then we have the device name in ASCII. That's all. Okay, so with IW, we could take the output of IW and translate what we see into IW. We don't consider its output stable, but we are doing it anyway. Okay. So I developed this very simple BusyBox-friendly script that takes the output of the vendor elements from IW minus U and performs a translation to ASCII. So this is working. You just trigger this script, and it will show you the host name, the device name at the end. Okay, so this was, I would say, simple. And also, I found a way to do it on the access point side. That is, we have this vendor elements feature in host APD. So we just use the script generate vendor elements. We put it in host APD, and we just have this host name or whatever we want scanned from the ubiquity devices. So it works both ways. So to see if this worked, we open again Wireshark. And we see here the information element with what we are broadcasting. Okay. Then I tried to do this on NobleWrtLED. And I found out that while the host APD vendors elements is supported by UBus, so it's simple to use it, the IW binary in NobleWrT and LED does not support the -U option. So it was working on attitude adjustment, but at some point we got a patch that stripped down the IW. And this is the patch, reduce size patch. We have a couple of hunks that disable this part here. So if I, let's say, compile without these two hunks, I get an IW binary that works, and that is about 5K longer, bigger in size than the IW with this patch enabled. Okay, so re-enabling this would cost us 5K bytes. Yeah, it got larger because I am enabling parts of the code that were commented. Like you see this if 0 and if. So all the code that is between these two macros is going to be enabled again. So you get something that is necessarily larger. So 5K, I don't know if it's a lot or not. Okay. So Giacchino was saying that, repeating for the microphone, that perhaps one way to do this could be to, instead of doing just an if 0, enable some variable, make an if some variable directive, and enable this variable through the menu of OpenWRT/LED. Yeah. And this is how it works, the vendor elements thing in UBus. You just do this UBus call, host APD dot WLAN 0, let's say, set vendor elements, and you push some JSON, and then you call update beacon, and this just works.
I have a question.
Sure.
So in that patch chunk, thank you. So in that patch chunk, you're leaving out one part that has one that parses already existing known vendor IEs, and another one that just prints every unknown IE. And is that that part that prints unknown IEs, is that what you need? Is that enough?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
yes, it would be just the print vendor.
Yeah, so we don't actually need to get rid of that chunk, we just need to move the end if, and it'll cost less than 5 kilobytes and should do what you want.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I will try to do it and submit something perhaps. Yeah. Okay, so one thing that would be nice to have, it would be to have a JSON output for IW someday. I think Joe has, I don't know.
We already have the IW info package and library, which exposes some functionality from IW, also via Lua interface, C interface, and you can use it to generate JSON data. And I consider just adding support for proprietary information elements to this library. So you can use that to script access to information elements. Maybe that would be a solution which you could use.
IW info.
IW info and libiw info. It's a library which you can access from either C or from Lua to script like wireless scans and stuff like that.
Okay, I thought IW info was the old IW info.
No, the old stuff is IW config.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I think we already talked about this, how to solve it. So I don't know, if we have time, perhaps I can show something live. We don't? Okay, let's move to the next talk then, perhaps. I don't know if I can make it. I will try. Have to find the shell. Okay. So these are 3 routers. And here we have we can run the site survey script. No, it will not work. Okay. Site survey WLAN 0. Okay, no, we need the whole window. Okay, there is something strange going on. Okay, this is on LEDy, but if yes, here. Okay, here it's working. So here you can see this host name field. We only have one access point with this going on. This is a home testbed. Sorry. This is a home testbed. We have only one host which is broadcasting this beacon. And this is how it looks like. And yeah, I showed you from the access point side what goes on. if you have a sufficiently old version of OpenWRT, you can use this script without patching everything. But I will try to redo this script with winfo. Perhaps it's better. And I don't know if you have any questions or you want to say anything. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I like it, and we should use it and see if we can better integrate it in Lead. So it's a really nice feature.
Okay, thank you.
No pressing questions right now, so let's thank Claudio. Next talk in 5 minutes will be about, where is it? Schedule? Where is our schedule?